Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now where you can place those pre-orders so you don't miss out on any of the comic goodness. And there's a lot of really good stuff this week.
Yeah.
I feel like it is a little bit smaller of a show, but in number of books, but the caliber of books is very big.
So it's a little bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, which I'm not upset about.
Yeah, for sure.
You save your wallet a little bit, but you get some extra good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's get into this week's, starting with our featured comics. I'm going to kick it off with Uncanny X-Men. It's been a while since we've had a Uncanny X-Men by name series, and this is our next one, From the Ashes. This is going to be written by Gail Simone, and the art is by David Marquez, which it's a great team. Gail Simone was teasing this for a long time that she was going to be working on some X-Men. So in this one, I feel like we don't know the full extent of what all of these X-Men books are going to be or how they each function. So this one sounds a little bit like some of the other ones as a group of X-Men rise from the ashes and of former Krakoa, but now without a home. We saw in the Free Comic Book Day book that they don't have the mansion anymore. That something's going on there, and they don't have Professor X to lead them because he might be locked up. But now the mutant community seems to be drifting apart, and for some reason it seems it's up to Rogue. Has the responsibility of bringing them back together somehow. It may be forming a new X-Men team. We know, we're gonna have X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, which seem to be our two main groups. And this one also mentions a new mutant hunting threat emerging kind of from the shadows with a secret that could destroy what remains of the X-Men. So I don't know, maybe are they each gonna have their own enemies, or is this going to be a collective villain that they're all going to have to face?
I feel like if they all have their own enemies, I feel sorry for the enemy because all the rest of the X-Men are going to come pounce on them.
So this sounds like I'm already sold on this one. Like I didn't even need a solicitation for this. I knew I was going to pick it up because I'm so excited about this new era of X-Men.
Yeah, and there was a free preview book that came out this week. I don't know if you guys saw it at your store, but we actually got a peek at some of the interior pages of X-Men, of Uncanny X-Men, and a bunch of other books too. And we got several preview pages of this, and they were lettered and everything, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part. Is I looked and it's like these all look good.
Yeah, like everything.
Why can't one look incredibly bad? And I go, okay, I don't have to worry about that.
That's the one I don't have to get. Yeah, but no, they all looked good.
They all look really good. So you can see a little bit of your team here, but getting into the variants, you'll see them a little bit better. So this is your Andy Kubert variant, which this is not necessarily the team you're going to have. I think this is more just representing classic X-Men. Then we have our David Marquez. There's your team. You're going to have Rogue, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Gambit, and Jubilee. And this is awesome. I love this team. So it's going to be, I feel like a little bit of blue and gold. This is kind of your gold team. X-Men is your blue team with Cyclops leading it. I love the return to very classic costumes. Like Gambit looks about
looks great.
Gambit as you can get.
And that's your interior artist too. So that's what the inside of the book looks like if you haven't seen it yet.
So very excited about this. We also have a John Tyler Christopher negative space variant with Jubilee. We have a logo variant. If you've never seen what the X-Men logo looks like, there's a clear view of it.
Yep.
We have a Luciano Vecchio Rogue variant.
That looks
great. Rogue with the brown leather jacket and everything. We have a Mr. Garson variant where the big X is made up a lot of little pictures. We have a Villalobos Disco Dazzler variant, but this time with magic.
Who's on the other X-Men team, so it's a little bit weird. But
Oh, what was she doing in the disco era?
Yeah.
And we also have this Scott Koblish wraparound connected variant. He's been doing a lot of these, but you can see you got Onslaught right there in the center, which is interesting. But you're getting every character ever in some of these. And then we also have a Steven Segovia variant with the team from the book.
And there's also on Marvel's YouTube channel, there is an animated trailer for the first issue of this as well. So that sold me for a third time after seeing that. It was really awesome.
Another big one.
Yeah, Wolverine Revenge #1. This is going to be, now this isn't the main Wolverine book. There is another one of those coming later, but this is a 5-issue miniseries written by Jonathan Hickman, and the art is by Greg Capullo, returning to Marvel. And that's it. We can move on. That's all you need to know. That's it, in order to get that.
We'll take your money now.
Yeah, but it sounds awesome. So we don't know a lot about the main, like the specific story details yet. The solicitation just tells us that Wolverine is going to face off against a whole host of foes that will turn his world upside down, and he's been beaten and bloodied, and he only has one thing on his mind, and that is revenge. And that's all we know for now, and that's all I need to know that I want to get this. We have seen some preview pages online, none of them lettered yet, but it just looks awesome. It's Capullo. Yeah, it's Capullo doing Wolverine. I mean, what more do you want? It just looks super cool. I don't know if the whole series takes place in the Savage Land, but we do know that he'll be there for at least part of it. I don't know if it's all the first issue or what, but you can see on the cover, he's facing off again. He's trying not to get eaten by a T-Rex, I guess, and it all just looks great. The new title
is called Wolverine Revenge.
Yeah, Wolverine Revenge. But yeah, I mean that's all I have to tell you right now because we don't know a whole lot. But like I said, Hickman and Capullo on Wolverine. What more do you need? I'm super excited for this. So we have a bunch of variant covers. This is our A cover by Greg Capullo. We have an Art Germ foil. Wait, no, that's not. This is an Art Germ variant. The David Nakayama one is a foil variant. Yeah. There's a Galloway Saturday Morning variant. There's a Mark Brooks variant. That looks really cool. I think that's maybe at least what the first issue will kind of be like. There's a movie variant. There is a Pablo Villalobos variant. There is a Takashi Okazaki variant. That looks really cool. And then also, they are doing red band versions of this book as well. So just like with Blood Hunt, you can get Wolverine Revenge #1, and it's going to be cool. Or you can get the red band version, which is going to be polybagged. It's going to feature some scenes and probably have an extra page or two. They're going to be a little bit bloodier. As you can see, the dinosaur and Wolverine himself are a little bit bloodier on this cover as well. So yeah, it's going to work just the same as Blood Hunt. You can choose the regular or the red band version.
Yeah, very excited about this.
Very excited.
I mean, this is your AAA title for comics right here. Next up, we have a new one in the Ninja Turtles universe. Will we have TMNT #1 by this point?
I don't remember. Have we talked? I think we have talked about it on here already. The #1. So I think #1 does come out first.
So, but this is kind of coinciding with that. It's at least going to be very early on. Around issue 1. So this is TMNT Nightwatcher #1. And you may have seen Nightwatcher in the Free Comic Book Day Ninja Turtles book from this year, where the Turtles have left after issue 150. They've left New York, and this new mysterious, very turtle-looking character has risen up as kind of a brutal vigilante protecting all of the new mutants in New York. And kind of taking into his own hands.
Yeah, and I found it. The first issue of the new Ninja Turtles comes out July 24th. This comes out on August 14th. So we'll have it first.
So we don't know a whole lot about this. Just that Nightwatcher, this mysterious character, is going to be fighting against the violence and discrimination against the mutants in New York, and it's an ongoing series, kind of running alongside Ninja Turtles. I'm sure they'll probably have some crossovers at some point, but I like that they're doing this because we kind of know what we're getting with Ninja Turtles, at least characters and stuff. This throws in a mystery element into it.
Do we think it's one of the 4 Ninja Turtles?
I don't know, since we're going to be getting the first 4 issues being different turtles, and we kind of know where each of them are. Mm-hmm. Also, does this one it doesn't look like he has room for a shell. It's like a shellless turtle or something.
Yeah,
but he does have 4 fingers. So
three fingers
and a thumb.
Because I thought it was Raphael based on this seems like something he would do, but we know in the first issue he's going to be in prison. So I don't know.
There's a lot of mystery to this, but I think it sounds really fun as we are getting into this new era of Ninja Turtles. I'm very excited about it. So this is written by Juni Ba and the art is by Pharaoh Pei. I really like Juni Ba right now. They're doing the Boy Wonder book at DC, which is great. So this is our A cover. We have a Pei variant, that's your interior artist.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is, really good character design. Looks like a tank.
Is it possible that it's Jenica or Venus de Milo?
I don't know, because we did see them in the Alpha issue, which was between the two. Maybe they picked up that mantle. Maybe it's...
Yeah. Is it Metalhead, maybe? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of
They
anybody
take off the head and there's nothing there. It's like, oh, you're just a robot.
I'm just trying to think of anybody who's turtle-shaped. You know?
Well, sometimes I feel like I am. And then we also have this Lankry variant as well. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. Next is Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood, #1. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries, and this is in the same vein as all the Black, White, and Blood books. It's all going to be black and white with also red. Oh, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Now, this is celebrating the 40th anniversary of the black costume, and this one, I believe, is going to have 3 stories in it. If you're familiar with the Black, White, and Blood books, they're the anthology books. Each issue has 2 or 3 stories. They don't necessarily connect. They're just like, little one and dones. And in this one, there's going to be a story about J.M. DeMatteis. He's going to revisit the Kraven's Last Hunt story to tell a never-before-seen tale of Spidey's past. We're going to get a story from J. Michael Straczynski that says he's going to rip Peter's and the symbiote's heart out, which sounds painful. And then there's the story with Dustin Nguyen, who it says will bring Spidey to uncharted heights. Whatever that means, I'm not sure.
But pilot license.
Yeah, right. But I love the black suit. It's one of my favorites. And to see it done in black and white with some, blood red accents on it, I think that sounds really cool. So I'm on board for this. So this is our A cover. We have a black blank variant. It'd be cool to get like a white spider drawn on that. A Greg Land variant with Mary Jane. That's awesome with her hair's red. So it's the accent. Yeah. A Mr. Garson variant. And then a Scotty Young variant, which those are always great.
So the anniversary of the black costume, is this which version of this isn't the anniversary of the symbiote, this is the anniversary of the black suit that he
Well, it happened the same time. So Secret Wars was in 1984. So that was 40 years ago. And then it was right around the same time where he came back to Earth in Amazing Spider-Man 252 with the suit. So yeah, it's a celebration of the whole thing.
Yeah. Very cool. Next up, we have a new #1, but a sequel series. This is Nightclub 2, #1. So this is by Mark Miller and Juanan Ramirez. And if you remember the original Nightclub, it's a great story about these kids who get vampire powers, and they kind of decide to be superheroes with it. It feels very Spider-Man-like. It was really, really fun series. Those characters went on to be in Mark Miller's big crossover event. Now we're returning to Nightclub with this second series. And in this, it sounds like the kids have had kind of a falling out, and the kind of ones who've broken off from the group might be trying to create a rival gang of vampires. So might be some infighting within the vampire friends. But if you enjoyed the first one, you'll definitely want to check this one out. The first volume is out in trade that you can pick up if you missed it.
It's really good.
It is really good. It's one of my favorite, more recent Mark Miller series. So check it out. We've got our A cover right here. And we also have this Lee variant. And I believe there's also a black and white of the A cover.
Okay. I really wish the book were, like you said, I wish it were called Vampire Friends.
Vampire Friends,
And that was the name of their team. It's like the Super Friends. Oh, we're the Vampire Friends. Missed opportunity, Mark Miller. Next up is Blood Hunters #1. Now, this is a separate series from the current Blood Hunters book that's going on right now. That's a tie-in to the Blood Hunt event. This, that's going to end. Blood Hunt is going to end. And then we're going to get this new 5-issue miniseries. And it's going to start with this #1. It's going to be written by Erica Schultz, and the art is by Robert Gill. And again, this comes out after Blood Hunt is over, but just because that event is over doesn't mean that there's not still some vampires running rampant through the streets. So Dagger, Elsa Bloodstone, White Widow, and Hallows Eve are going to band together, and they're already together in the current Blood Hunters book. But they're going to get together, or stay together, I guess, and basically clean up the rest of the vampires that are still running around out there, including the Blood Coven. So that should be interesting because, the Blood Coven gave the Avengers a run for their money. And now, these characters are going to go up against them. Maybe, I don't know if they'll be weakened or what that's going to look like. They're also going to cross paths with Miles Morales, who, based on the cover, looks like he's still a vampire. So I don't know if he will be actually in the story or if maybe that's just a cover gimmick or maybe he is, and how is he going to be not a vampire anymore? I don't know. I don't know about the Miles Morales part, other than that he's gonna be part of it as well. But yeah, if you've been enjoying, I just like the team. I like those characters together. So whether it's vampires or some other kind of supernatural thing, I think those characters together is awesome. So I definitely want to check that out.
I like how they're like the damage control, but for vampires.
Right? Yeah,
they
exactly.
Clean everything up.
They clean everything up, and just take care of any missed vampires, I guess. But this is our A cover right here. We have an Akka dagger variant, and then there's an Erica Durso variant. I like that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a really fun one-shot special. This is DC Super Pets special Bitedentity Crisis. So they, this is funny because it's not like a seasonal one-shot, but it's kind of a fun all-pet story one-shot that's got several stories in it. So this is a whole host of creative teams working on them, but one of the main creators of this is Tony Fleeks, who did Stray Dogs and is feral right now. So it's really cool to see him take on some more licensed animal friends. But there's going to be a few stories in here. The main one is about Bitewing, or Haley, Nightwing's dog, who Dick Grayson and Barbara have to leave town for a little bit, and they leave Bitewing at the Kent farm just to be pet set. But what they don't know is that is like the headquarters for the super pets. And, that includes Crypto, Ace the Bat Hound, and a whole plethora of other hero pets.
What's Wonder Woman's kangaroo? I don't remember. Hoppy? No, Jump. I don't remember the name.
Jumpa.
Yeah. Jumpa's
there. So it's really fun where it almost seems like they try to recruit Bitewing into these super pets, but maybe Bitewing has different ideas. There's other stories in here. There's one with Bat Cow and Damien, really fun. And there's a final story in here, and they don't. So we got to sample a preview copy of this. So I don't want to give it away because I feel like they're not talking about it. It's by Kyle Starks. And it's just how would you tease this?
You will never expect it.
Yeah,
you'll never see it coming. Is what I would say.
It's a DC animal crossover, but a DC property that's not what you expect.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that they actually did that.
Yeah, maybe it'll make some people mad.
Yeah,
I don't care because I think it's really funny. So we've got a few covers for this. This is our A cover by Pete Woods. We have a Carl Herschel variant.
I love the old school Lex Luthor stuff.
And it's really fun to see, like, I don't know, in other things, what certain characters are represented as in animal form. And we also have a Tony Fleeks variant with the whole gang. Yeah,
looking through the preview issue, the whole thing looks extremely silly, but in the best way possible. Like, it's just a good, fun, silly, enjoyable comic book.
You got Chip in there, you've got Streaky, so a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Next is the Pedestrian #1. So this is a new book from Magma Comics. This is written by Joey Esposito and the artist by Sean Von Gorman. And not really quite sure what this is. So, just going off of the solicitations, it says that a strange visitor speedwalks into Summer City and silently changes the lives of its residents. And then you can see him speed walking right there. But not all is quiet in this sleepy town. An ancient conflict linked to the secret history of street signs is brewing. I have no idea what that means, and I have no idea what to expect. You looked through a preview copy, right? And said it looks pretty fun. It looks
really fun.
Yeah.
It's very kind of, not absurdist, not like that. One of the things that I wish it was one of the main covers you could get, but I think it's like a 1 in 5 incentive. There's a Mike Allred variant.
Okay.
I just feel like this screams like new generation Mike Allred storytelling. Yeah. It's a little Madman. It's that kind of feel.
Yeah, so not really sure what to expect yet, but it sounds like it already grabs me. Like, I definitely want to know what they're talking about. So it sounds like a lot of fun.
And I want to say there's one part, like, you see him crossing the street there where he goes up and it's like a don't walk sign, and then his chest symbol turns into like a don't walk sign.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then when he goes again, and it's really weird, but it seems really fun.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold on that. All right, so we have our A cover right here by Sean Von Gorman. So that is your interior artist right there. And then there is a Dean Haspiel variant also, which
gets into some scrapes as well.
Yeah, that reminds. Oh, it's like a don't walk sign. That's a little bit of Bruno Redondo Nightwing going on. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Next up, just want to mention that Saga issue 67 is coming out. Saga's been on a little bit of a hiatus, but people are always thrilled when it comes back. So, of course, this is the series by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. It's been running for years. They are on their 12th season. However, they break up seasons. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's maybe volumes also.
I don't know.
But now it's funny how they've kind of kept it going like this. It's the 12th season, and Hazel, who was born in the very first issue, or kind of the first story arc, is now 12 years old and about to head on her biggest adventure of her young life. So, if you've been waiting for Saga to come back, some people they come in every time there's a new Saga. I don't see them for 6 months, and then Saga comes back and they're back. Yeah. So, if you're one of those people, get ready because new Saga's coming your way. And like always, there's just the one cover.
One cover. Next up is Avengers number 17, and we wanted to spotlight this one near the top of the show as well because it's the start of a new story arc. Storm joins the Avengers, which is pretty notable. I don't think she's ever been part of the Avengers officially before. Valerio Schiti is taking over art duties on the book, so it's going to look really good. And this happens, when this comes out, Blood Hunt will be done. The Fall of the House of X obviously will be finished. But there's a new deadly threat that sets its sights on Earth. And, like I said, Storm is going to have to join the Avengers to help them take it down. It's just cool to see Storm. We're getting a Storm solo series as well. And she's going to be part of the Avengers. So, lots of big things happening for Storm.
She's on any of the teams?
I don't think so. Not that we know of, at least right now. Okay. And that Storm book was the only one not included in that X-Men preview book.
Yeah, and I think the one time we have seen Storm is when she's making a presentation to the UN or something. So it seems like she's doing her own thing, which I think is really cool. Yeah. She's a character that can stand apart from even being part of she's autonomous enough.
Yeah, she can do her own thing, or she can hang out with the Avengers. The X-Men.
She can lead the Avengers.
Honestly. she's been filled in the Fantastic Four before. She can do it all. She's very versatile. So we just want to let you know about that cool new happening for the Avengers. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Cafu, Deadpool, and Wolverine. Oh, I should have mentioned that too. This is part 6 of the Deadpool Wolverine weapon extraction storyline that is being told in the backup stories of various issues. There's another one coming up here later.
And it's interesting how you could get the variants for all of these. And in your short box, it would look like this is a whole separate series.
Yeah, it is pretty cool that every issue has a Deadpool Wolverine variant. That's really neat. So there is a Corey Smith Coca-Cola variant. I think we're going to get some more of these at some point. Because there was that really cool commercial that came out recently with Coca-Cola.
I didn't even see a Coca-Cola variant.
Yeah, did you see the commercial?
Yeah. But I guess this is our first of the variants.
I think so, and I think there's more coming. Maybe not on this FOC, but I think there are more.
I do kind of want to praise that Coca-Cola commercial because they use MCU characters. Yeah. You've got Juggernaut in there. You've got
Black Widow was there, but she looked more like her comic counterpart. Daredevil was there, but it seemed like it was more focused on the comics than the movies.
That's awesome.
So there's a J. Scott Campbell Disco Dazzler variant, which
it's more funny to look at the characters in the background, the other Avengers look like in this.
But I think the kids would say Slay, right? Is that what they would say? I don't know.
Yep, I got confirmation. Yes, they would say that.
There's a Luciano Vecchio homage variant, but I don't know what that's an homage to. I'm not sure. And then there's a Pablo Villalobos variant just with Storm herself.
Next up, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Land of Giants #1. So if you are a fan of Borderlands or the kind of spin-off game, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, you'll definitely want to check this out. I think it's a mini-series. It's going to be written by Paul Tobin.
Yeah, it's just 3 issues.
Yeah, and the art is by Luisa Russo. And not a whole lot of information. If you know how the game works, it's a very mix of FPS and D&D. So Tina is running a new game, and the heroes have to hunt a bounty called Hilly the Kid. So if you like a little mix of fantasy, craziness, Borderlands, all of that, you'll want to check this one out. And there is the only one cover. Next up, we got notable 2s and 3s, continuations of series you'll want to check out, or maybe you've checked out the #1, and you need a reminding to pick up the #2s.
We're going to start with Absolute Power Task Force 7, number 3. So we're, by the time this comes out, we'll be well into the Absolute Power event. This one's written by Jeremy Adams and the artist by Marco Santucci. I think each one of these has a different creative team.
They do, yeah. I know, like the Aquaman one, I think is like John Layman, and
so it's a different writer too.
It's a new writer too.
So in this one in particular, and each one of these, this is going to be a 7-issue series. Each one focuses on a different Amazo robot that has stolen the powers from somebody. Like the first one is all about the one that stole the powers from Superman. Well, this one is about the one called Jadestone. They all have names too. This is the one. This is Jadestone, who is what I put in quotes the Green Lantern Amazo, the one that stole the powers from Green Lantern. They also go ahead and steal the powers from the rest of the JSA. But because it stole some of those powers, it soon becomes compromised by Alan Scott's willpower, and it causes it to maybe have a change of heart. Like maybe it sort of, awakens something inside of it. I'm not really sure. But the remaining members of the JSA attempt to rescue their teammates and escape to the Tower of Fate. So
awesome. I mean, you see Our Man on the cover.
Yeah.
Star Sapphire, which is interesting.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And, when we were on that call with Mark Waid, he said that the JSA would play a decent-sized role in the Absolute Power story. So, I think this is really cool. I'm interested because it seems like all the other Amazo robots, like, oh, we're going to steal your powers and be a bad guy. But this one is like, oh, I stole your powers, but, oh, now I might start to question things. And that may play a bigger factor into what happens later.
That might tear them apart from the inside.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think this one in particular sounds really cool. So we have our A cover right here. There is a Hayden Sherman variant. There is a Michael Janin variant. There is a Stephen Platt variant. That one, Al Jordan's been put through the ringer. A John Timms. So this is another one of those connecting variants. And then there is a Dan Mora foil variant. Golly, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting for sure.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It reminds me of the DC Mech series, and they all had covers like that.
Next up, we've got Star Wars Inquisitors number 2. Number 1 came out this week. It was really interesting seeing the Grand Inquisitor and this new Jedi that they're hunting called Tensu Run. Well, this one, and I wonder if each of the issues is going to be like this. So the first one had a lot with the Grand Inquisitor. This one, the 5th brother, goes out on a mission for Vader to hunt Tensu Run. So that's the 5th brother on the cover. We've seen him in various media, Rebels. He was in Obi-Wan. All that. So I'm excited to see maybe are each of these issues going to kind of focus on a different Inquisitor going after this character. We'll have to see. But very excited. This is our A cover for that. And we also have a Phantom Menace 25th anniversary variant as well.
Next up is Spider-Man Reign 2, number 2. The first issue came out this week, and it was pretty interesting. I want to see what happens next. Now, this solicitation kind of reveals a little bit about what happened at the end. So I'll go ahead and say Old Man Peter returns to the past. That was a big thing that happened near the end. There's a little bit of time travel involved in this story. And it just says, can he save the future and Mary Jane? Well, not if Miles Morales has anything to say about it. We saw Miles in the first issue for just a little bit, and we don't really know the full extent of this time travel stuff and what's going to happen. But yeah, that is a factor in this story, so it should be interesting to see. I just want to see, Old Man Peter with his big old flowing beard. And it kind of looked like, in the first issue, it looked like he went back to the 80s.
Interesting.
Because there was a guy like carrying a boombox in the fashion. I might be wrong about that, but that's what it looked like. So we'll have to see when he actually went to. But yeah, so, check it out if you like the first one. This is our A cover. We have a Mirka Andolfo variant, and then there is a Scon variant. That one looks cool. I don't know if that's supposed to be Black Cat or Kitty Cat. It looks like Black Cat.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen Black Cat yet. We only saw Kitty Cat, so I'm not real sure.
Next up, we've got Wolverine Deep Cut number 2. Now, you read issue number 1 of this week as this takes place right before Uncanny 251. Is that?
Yeah, I think it said right after 246, before 251. So right in that little
middle section when Wolverine had to go out on a special errand he had to run.
I'll be back, kids.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
In this one, it looks like Wolverine's going to be facing off against the Marauders. So if you enjoyed that first one by Chris Claremont, definitely check out number 2. We've got our A cover right here. We also have a Giuseppe Camuncoli variant and a Mike McCone variant.
Next up is Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor, number 2. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. The first one came out.
Do this one, but I got all our notes mixed up.
That's okay. The first issue came out this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you liked it, right?
I did. I really liked it.
The Doctor and the Cybermen clash while Ruby faces an insectoid threat. But what is the true nature of the terrifying evil that stands ready to unveil itself? Admittedly, I'm not a Doctor Who watcher. I'm vaguely familiar with what's going on here, but not much. But it's one of my great shames that I haven't watched Doctor Who, and I definitely want to rectify that at some point. Is there anything else to add to this?
Just the first issue is really interesting, where they go to a mall that's like the world has ended, but the mall is still around, and people are just still working in the mall and shopping and all of that. So I'm really excited, and it's interesting. This is only a mini series, so I wonder what they have planned going forward. But I really liked issue number 1, and if you're a fan of Doctor Who, pick up issue 1 and sign up for issue 2.
Yeah, we should have flipped that one of Wolverine because we each read the opposite one.
It's fine.
There's our A cover, and then there is a Ramsey cover.
Next up, we've got Gatchaman number 2. So this came out last week.
I think it was last week.
Last week, number 1, and the Gatchaman Kin came out last week. We've got number 2 right here. And it's funny how what this talks about, this is solicitation, because you kind of mentioned this a little bit. The team now is out of commission because of a big fight they're in. Who will protect the city? Yeah. And maybe it's a backup team. Yeah. Which was kind of teased.
Yeah, the first issue introduced us to what I kind of thought is like the second string. And they're very, very good, but they kept saying they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. And I don't think we've seen them anywhere before. I haven't anyway. So yeah, there's a second team ready to go in case something happens to the main team.
It's kind of surprising they're pulling them out so fast into issue number 2.
Yeah, well, I mean,
move out the old team.
Yeah, I mean, the first issue, the way it ended, their ship had gotten tangled up with this big kaiju looking thing, but they weren't like knocked out or anything. So I guess, they're just being cautious.
So we got our A cover here, and we have a Sanford Green variant.
Next up is Grommets number 3. I love this series. This is so good. And in this one, it's Ditch Day at the arcade. And it says that Rick and Brian, who you can see on the cover, they take a shot at the girl of their dreams. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's one of the gens that we met last issue or not. But it says, and I think this is his name. You can see him on the cover. Liberty Spike Mike, I think is his name. Will his defiance of Nancy Reagan make their dreams go up in smoke? And for a minute, I was like, what in the world? But, Nancy Reagan in the 80s had a big, say no to drugs campaign. And maybe there's going to be a little bit of weed smoking. I don't know. But, so we'll have to see. But I guess he's going to be a new character because we haven't seen him yet. Or if we have, maybe he's been in the background. But Grommets is great. I highly recommend it if you're just looking for a change of pace. You want something different than superheroes and horror and drama and all that kind of, this is just super fun. And this is our only cover.
Yep. Next up, we got cool covers and some other interesting bits in here, including Ultimate Black Panther number 7. This series is really kind of picking up, especially from the last issue, where we're learning a little bit more about this other element that's kind of the sister element to Vibranium. Yeah. And what does it mean? And it looks like that Black Panther is going to be trying to harness that. So this kicks off War of the Kingdoms, which I guess is our second big story arc. Yeah. As it looks like they're starting to use some of the bigger powers they have. Ra and Khonshu have something they've got working up, and then Black Panther's got this. So I'm very excited to see this kind of next stage, especially with Ultimate Spider-Man, Black Panther, all of these kind of moving on to second story arcs once we've got the established story arc out of the way. So we've got a few covers here. This is our A cover. We have our Juan Ferreira cover, which is this a homage of Ultimate Spider-Man? Not number 1.
I'm not sure.
But there's one where he's climbing up the wall
It does look very Ultimate Spider-Man-y. Yeah.
And then we also have, this is the Asrar variant, which is really cool.
And next up is Spectacular Spider-Man number 6, my favorite 616 Spider-Man book on the stands. This is going to be the first appearance of a new villain. Don't know who, but that's what this solicitation told us. And also, this is part 7 of the Wolverine Deadpool weapon extraction storyline. So if we're trying to get all those,
how many parts that is?
I want to say
or something?
I think it's 8.
Okay.
I think it might be 8.
So like 100?
No, yeah, every book from here on out is that. But yeah, so and it does make mention too that the noose that Arcadia and Mentallo has around um, the around Spider-Man and Miles, or Peter and Miles, gets a little bit tighter. So yeah, just another great issue. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Nick Klein Stormbreakers variant, and then there is the Shalvey Weapon Extraction variant, which looks very movie-esque. The
with
costume,
the sleeves and
and Dogpool.
Dogpool
Yeah.
being that kind of dog, yeah. Next up, we've got Star Wars: The High Republic number 10, and wanted to mention this. One, this is a really nice Asrar variant with Keith Trennis on it, but this is the final issue of this phase of the High Republic, and they haven't announced another comic run for High Republic, so we'll have to see what kind of stuff. We know we're getting the Kalnaka Acolyte tie-in series, which is kind of High Republic adjacent, but for the main one, it is wrapping up right here, so don't miss that one.
And next up is Daredevil, number 12. And we just wanted to show you the Disco Dazzler variant because it's really cool. In this one, Daredevil and Elektra, they're going to have to protect not only themselves, but all of Hell's Kitchen from Bullseye's dastardly designs. If you've been reading it, he's starting to play a factor. Kingpin's been coming back in there too. So, and don't miss that with this awesome Dazzler cover. We also have the Doctor Strange number 18 Disco Dazzler cover, and this one I believe is the final issue of this run.
Oh wow!
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I don't.
Too late.
Yeah, we heard it. Yeah, you heard it here first, unfortunately. I don't think there's another one after this. I'm sure there'll be another Doctor Strange run at some point, but I think this is the last of this. And it just says that what is next for Doctor Strange now that Blood Hunt is over. Hopefully he's all back in one piece,
Yeah, hopefully mind and body are okay.
And then last is the Hulk number 15. We want to show you this Disco Dazzler cover as well. And this one sounds cool. The Eldest thinks back thousands of years ago to the empire that she ruled until her encounter with the first Hulk Enkidu brought it all to ruin. I don't know, Enkidu, however you spell that. But so another cool. This is maybe my favorite of the Disco Dazzler covers because it's so ridiculous, but in the best way possible.
I'm surprised his wheels are still holding them up.
Yeah, they're adamantium.
Next up, we want to mention this one. This is Gotham City Sirens number 2. This is going to be the March Connecting Prismatic Gloss variant. We talked about the first one with Poison Ivy last week. It looks like they're trying to get all these out of the way to make sure they can get it printed in time. So we will be talking about this series later on when the main one comes out, which will be the order for it is 7/15. So you don't have long to wait. But I can't wait to talk about this series.
Yeah.
And we got graphic novels and more.
Well, I'm very excited. The Secret Wars Omnibus. Now, this is the 2015 Secret Wars, written by Jonathan Hickman. This is going to be $100, and it's going to collect Hickman's run of Avengers number 35 through 44, also New Avengers 24 through 33, and also Secret Wars, the 2015 series 1 through 9. So that whole thing as well. So, it's a great, really awesome story, and it's cool that they're collecting not only the main story, but, the main issues that led into it. So this will be really cool if you have the Jonathan Hickman Avengers Omnibus Volume 1. This is going to kind of butt up to that, although I think might need to be a middle one in there too. But yeah, just really cool. So this one has 3 covers. This is the Alex Ross Direct Market variant. There is a Jim Chung Direct Market variant, which that might be the one that I get. And then there is the Standard Edition cover that will be available in all book stores. The Direct Market variants are only available at comic shops like ours.
I wonder if they're going to do a companion one to this that has the tie-ins, the Battle Worlds, and all of that.
Yes, they are.
They are. Mm-hmm. Yep. Very cool, because those were really good.
Yeah, those were good.
Very good ones. The Maestro one was fantastic. Yeah. Old Man Logan. Yeah. That was probably one of my favorite events in recent years with tie-ins and everything.
Yeah, and so if you're interested in the companion book Omnibus, it is coming out, but it's later than this, so you don't have to worry about ordering it right now. Just get the main book for right now.
And this is really good because this has the Maker in it.
Yep.
A lot of stuff that we're still seeing ramifications of in the books. Next up, we've got Incredible Hulk Epic Collections Volume 1, which I'm guessing this is a reissue because surely they've done Volume 1,
I
but
thought
it's
they
probably years ago.
actually I thought they did it just recently. I was actually kind of surprised to see this on the list because I thought this just came out.
Well, here you go. You've
Yep.
got Man or Monster. Collects the very beginning of Hulk, which actually wasn't that long. It got canceled after, what, 6 issues?
Yeah, it ran for 6 issues as the Hulk, and then it morphed into Tales to Astonish, and it was a
Yes.
Hulk Submariner double book. And then with issue 102, it went back to being a Hulk.
Yeah, so this is going to have those first issues of Hulk. It's got some Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Tales to Astonish, and Journey into Mystery. So kind of all, he started off by himself, and then he started teaming up pretty fast.
Yeah.
And you can get this for $44.99, kind of the Epic Collection price.
Yeah. Next up is the Elseworlds Justice League trade paperback volume 2. They're releasing all these Elseworlds books and stories in various trades, and it's really cool. This is the second of the Justice League one. This is going to be $34.99, and it's going to have several different stories in it. One of them is a dystopian tale of Metropolis at the mercy of the Superman, Nosferatu, and Diana of Heaven. Kind of reminds me of the Gods and Monsters animated thing a little bit. There's another story. It says a world where the powers of all superhumans are taken away, which sounds very absolute power right now. And then there's a story about the super sons of Batman and Superman, which you can see on the cover, which sounds very, super sons like we got. And there's also the Batman Superman Generations book from.
It's kind of how we talk about the Marvel's What If.
And then they come true.
Eventually, they just make them a thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, Elseworlds are great, and here is more of the ones. I believe all these came out in the 90s or close to that. So, yeah, all collected here.
Next up, we've got Batman by Grant Morrison, Volume 1. I actually have the Omnibus that collects a lot of this.
Yeah,
but this is one of my favorite runs of anything of all time. This was like when I started reading consistently, I got into this, and this led to some of my favorite stories. This is what eventually leads to Dick Grayson becoming Batman with Damian as Robin. But this is the beginning of that run, which I'm guessing, I saw the issue numbers. I don't know issue numbers and story arcs what line up, but I'm guessing this has maybe Black Glove in it, that kind of era of it. But this is what really brought Damian into the DC universe proper, and eventually he became Robin.
Yeah.
This is a deconstruction of Batman. This basically what Grant Morrison did coming into this is say, imagine everything that you've read about Batman. When he had the zebra costume, the rainbow costume, Zur-En-Awe, he went time traveling, he did all this stuff. It was all true. It all just happened earlier in his life. And basically said, yep, everything happened. What would that affect a character like this now? And it's just a brilliant idea that created a even more complex version of Batman.
Which is really interesting because Crisis on Infinite Earths was supposed to wipe out all the kind of silly stuff from the 60s. It wiped out all the weird Superman stuff.
Yeah.
So it's funny that, actually it didn't wipe out this stuff for Batman. He still did it.
So starting at book 1, check this out. It is so good. And this is going to be $39.99.
Next is J. Garrick the Flash trade paperback. This just collects the 6-issue J. Garrick the Flash miniseries that just wrapped up, I want to say a few months ago. Excellent.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was my favorite of the 3 new Golden Age books. They were all great, but this one, some fantastic art, really good action. It is just a really fun comic book, so I highly recommend this one. It's going to be $16.99, and yeah, like I said, just collects all 6 issues. This is wonderful. It's really good.
And next up, we've got Justice League of America, #1 Facsimile Edition. So this is your official first Justice League appearance, not counting Brave and the Bold, which was the kind of pseudo first coming together of the superheroes, but this is the #1 of their ongoing series. When they're up against, Despero?
I think so, yeah.
And everything. So if you've never read it, check this out. I love their reprinting some of the earliest stuff. So you can read it and understand how far we've come.
Right.
So just really fun. Like all of them, there's the regular edition, the foil edition, I believe also a sketch cover as well. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, head over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can do your pre-orders. Your pre-orders are due Sunday afternoon, Sunday around 6. So you make sure you get all of the stuff that you want when it comes out in a few weeks. But that is super important that you get those orders in so we know how many to get. For whether you shop with us here at Infinity Flux, online, or at another store, we just like to help everyone out with our love of comics. So, if you made it to the end of the show, Leva,
is there
this is your thing.
I don't know. I mean, is it, you know, there's an X emoji, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the letter X, but it's just like a red X, like drop, you know, because we're really excited for X-Men and
There's
Wolverine.
a lot of good X-Men stuff coming out. Our show coming up on Monday, we'll be going over X-Men #1.
Yeah, Jed McKay and Ryan Stegman.
So we are entering into the new era of
Yep.
X-Men on Monday.
Yep.
You don't want to miss that. Plus, we've got a ton of other stuff. Ultimates #2.
Yep.
We were going to be having Task Force 7 #1.
Yeah, the Absolute Power
Absolute
tie-in.
Power.
Yep.
So big show on Monday. Don't miss out on that. Make sure, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, see ya.